Oh, you caught me taking a cookie out of the cookie jar, Grandma's cookie jar, so shh, don't tell her, okay? So, my name is Trista, and I am the vintage cookbook nerd. I love reading vintage cookbooks like this one, Creek Cookery, cover to cover, and I love to uncover delicious recipes like these molasses cookies from Grandma Traphagen. And I love to have little story times about the recipes. So we'll be learning about these amazing molasses cookies from this cookbook and going through some fun stories here. And stick around to later on when I'm rolling out the cookies, I will tell you about the tale of two grandmas' treat jars. So each of my grandmas had different treat jars, kind of like this one, and I will tell you what we got up to with those treat jars. So stick around for lots of stories and fun and an amazing, delicious recipe for the holiday season, for Christmas and beyond. These are amazing cookies, so stick around to learn how to make them. This yummy cookie recipe comes from one of my favorite books, Creek Cookery by Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings. And she wrote The Yearling, and she wrote this book in response to lots of requests for her recipes. And so today we're gonna check out Grandma Traphagen's, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, molasses cookies. And I get very excited when I see buttermilk in a recipe because that usually means it's gonna be really delicious. And over here on this other page, it talks about her grandma's cookie jar. So later on, we'll be reading that and finding out more because I love cookie jar stories and I have some of my own as well. So let's jump right in to making these fabulous cookies. Ooh, look at those fabulous cookies right out of the oven. I cannot wait to taste these. So let's dive right into making these molasses cookies. First, we have a cup of shortening. I'm using the original recipe here, calling for shortening. If I make this a second time, I want to try it with butter to see what the difference is, as I usually prefer butter. But anyway, we're gonna also be using a rotary beater. We have a cup and a half of sugar, and it asks us to cream that together. I'm gonna be using this rotary beater, which, although it's slower, it gives us an arm workout. And those are always great. So I'm gonna come back in just a moment when I have this a little bit more creamed together, and we will continue on with this amazing cookie recipe. All right, we are back. So the shortening, and sugar are creamed together very well. It just took a couple minutes of beating. So now we're gonna mix in an egg, just one egg. It says beat vigorously, so we're gonna do our best to be vigorous without making this go all over the place. Do you ever use a rotary beater? It is more difficult, but I try to be authentic, and using more muscles is always a good thing. So let me know what you think about that in the comments down below, and if you love molasses cookies. I love spiced molasses cookies. Okay, we have that beat together. So we're gonna be adding a whole cup of molasses here. And I'm gonna use my spatula to get as much out of that as I can. I decided to have a handy plate over here to put my spatula on so that I don't get the countertop dirty. Sometimes I don't think about that, but today I did. What are some little tricks that you like to use while cooking and baking? I would like to know, especially cleanup related ones, because it often creates a bit of a mess, but it's always worth it. Okay, so we got a good amount, I should say most of that molasses in there. Just gonna get a little bit more out of here. It's very sticky. Okay, I'm gonna put that over there, and then we have a teaspoon of salt. I'm just using regular sea salt here. A nice rounded teaspoon of cinnamon, and then a half teaspoon of ginger. Yum. Okay, so we're supposed to beat this now one more time before we're adding the buttermilk. Woo, this is getting very thick, I have to say. It's getting a little challenging. So let's try to beat through this as best we can. It's looking really pretty, a lot like gingerbread cookies, and these are going to be cutout cookies. So, ooh, this is slow as molasses. Aptly so, right? Okay, we're gonna persevere through this. Okay, just gonna give this a bit of a stir. We're gonna make it, do not worry. Using the spatula again to clean this up a little. I love to have lots of spatulas because when you are baking, you go through a lot of them. Okay, that's looking good. Now we're gonna add in a cup of buttermilk, one of my favorite ingredients. It always seems to be magical and make things taste really good. Plus it seems to add some great moisture. Okay. I'm just trying to go slow and steady here, like the turtle winning the race. And we can always use the beater to sort of stir as well. Now, the next two ingredients are really interesting. I had to look this up because I wasn't sure why, but you dissolve the baking soda in a bit of vinegar. So you're making a little mini volcano that you're putting into the cookies. And this is because at this time period, I guess they didn't really have baking powder yet, or it wasn't readily available or something. So we have actually 4 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Woohoo! So I want to do that at the last minute to make sure it's really activated in here. So let's stir that up a little. And then we're gonna add that to our mixture here. And stir that up. Now, I'm gonna get rid of this, or not completely get rid of it, but set it to the side, this rotary beater. And let's get our flour in here. Now, it calls for 4 cups, but it says to use using enough only to roll out well. So let's add maybe 3/4 of this and kind of judge and see if we need to add more flour or not. Because we're gonna roll and cut these cookies. So let's see what our dough looks like. So we're supposed to cut into large cookies. I have some different cutters that I'm going to use. I'm going to give these out as holiday or Christmas gifts. So some of them I'm going to make a little larger than others. And I will show you the cutters I'm going to use. I don't have a lot of Christmas cutters, so I am just going to use what I have right now to just make some cute ones. So that's looking pretty good, although it is still looking a little sticky for rolling out. And so let's add the rest of the flour, I'd say. And let's see how this is looking to us. It doesn't say to chill this, so I'm going to trust that and try at least making one batch without any type of chilling. This will be very interesting. So this is what it's looking like. It's a rather soft dough, but it says the cookies are rather soft, which I am really happy about because I am a person that loves soft cookies. Do you like crispy cookies or soft cookies? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments down below about that. So here we have it. Here is the dough, and we are going to be rolling these out next. So I'll see you over at the rolling pin station. Okay, we are back at the rolling pin station here, and I have to say this dough is very, very sticky, so I would definitely scoop out a little bit, a big spoon of it, and then sort of knead in as much flour as you need, and then we're gonna roll it out. It's still very, very soft. So I'm curious, this will be a little bit of an experiment to see how these are gonna cut. I'm just gonna cut a small heart out of this and see how that goes. Let's cut actually several small hearts, and I'm gonna move this onto our baking sheet here, and it is very, very soft, but it is a lovely cookie. I'm leaving these nice and thick because I think this way they will retain their shape well, and thick cookies are delicious. So that is my first cutout. Let's see. We can remove this one. You know, I might, I'm gonna come back in a moment and bring a spatula because these are so soft that they're a little hard to just pick up and move to the tray. So I'll be right back. Now I'm gonna try to cut out a bear. Let's roll this out just a little bit more and see. Okay. That's looking really good. Let's remove the excess. And then let's use our trusty spatula to pick up Mr. Bear, and he's still very, very soft. Okay, so we got him on the tray without any injury. Mr. Bear is looking good. There's a little extra stuff there, but we're not gonna worry about it. So, I have the fun story that I was talking about to tell you while we roll out a couple more cookies. And it is the tale of two cookie jars. So let me know if you have a cookie jar at home, or if your grandma had one or mom had one. Both of my grandmas, I would say they had treat jars. One grandma definitely used a cookie jar. It had 3 levels, And it's funny because I have a couple of her cookie recipes, but throughout most of the year, she just had store-bought cookies in there because she loved couponing. So she would buy certain brands of cookies, and there was a different kind in each of the 3 levels. And my brother and I knew to go to her after school because she lived in our home, and to get one of those delicious cookies. And there was one time I remember, and maybe more than one time, that my brother saved me a cookie because he got home first. He was younger, still is younger than me, but I thought that was very sweet. So the other grandma had a different treat jar. She was very, very smart in that she had a fancy glass jar, and she kept, all right, these are getting better. She kept dried prunes in there, so no cookies. But I think it taught us to love dried fruits and kind of healthy snacks. So I still love dried prunes and any type of dried fruit a lot. Of course, I love cookies as well. But I thought it was very clever of her to keep the fancy jar there, so we would just grab those whenever, and it wasn't a huge deal. So let me know if you have any cookie jar stories, and I'm gonna get these in the oven in just a moment, and we'll see how these first ones turn out with no chilling time. I'm gonna quickly show you how I work in more flour so that you are able to roll this dough, because it's super soft and we want it to stay soft, but we need enough flour to roll it. So what I do is kind of use the spatula to turn it over on itself a little bit. We still want to be gentle because we don't want to overwork this, but we need to get enough flour in there so that the cookies are sturdy enough to move from the rolling mat onto the cookie tray. So I just kind of fold in bits of flour until it feels sturdy enough. So this is kind of a feeling method. When you first mix up the dough, I would do it by the recipe, but then add the flour on the rolling mat as I'm doing here. This method has worked really well for me. And I'm going to show you another trick in just a moment of how to kind of pretty up the cookies before you bake them, because sometimes they have a lot of flour on them. And I will show you how to kind of pretty them up. So that's coming up next. So I'm going to show you something to do before you bake the cookies. So you want to take a silicone brush, and I just put a tiny bit of water on it just by running it under the top for just a moment, and it kind of takes away those bits of flour, as you can see here. And then we're gonna sprinkle a bit of just plain granulated sugar on here. If you want to put colored sugar on there or something like that, that is a great idea too. But it just adds a little bit of sparkle and yumminess for, you know, holiday decorating. So this really helped make them look cute and pretty, and they don't even need any chilling. Amazing. So these go in the oven for 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, depending on your oven, at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's take a little sneak peek taste at these delicious molasses cookies from Grandma Traphagen from 1942. These are so yummy. At least I'm pretty sure they are, because they look amazing. They're super thick, which I love. Thick, soft cookies. Yum, yum, yum. And then we're gonna read a little bit about Grandma Traphagen's cookie jars and treats. So let's take a bite and see how these are, and then in a little bit, stick around because my family is gonna try these as well at the end. Mmm, mmm, mmm. These are so delightfully soft. They have a lovely spiced molasses flavor. These are so good. And I might experiment with leaving some of them with the sugar off and putting a little icing on top. But these really do not need a lot of decor or icing because they taste really good. Just look at that soft texture. Oh, I'm in heaven with these cookies. So let's have a tiny story time and read about the cellar where Grandma Traphagen kept a lot of the yummy stuff that she made, including her cookie jars and things like that for the grandkids. So if you love cookie jar stories, this one is for you. It says, and on the shelves just inside the cellar landing were the cookie jars. Sometimes they spell it with a Y. Sugar cookies, molasses cookies, hickory nut cookies. Those are some ones I would love to try. There was usually two, an old-fashioned high-stemmed covered glass cake plate or two, holding what was strangely left of the previous meal's nut cake, jelly roll, or blackberry jam layer cake. Oh, that sounds good. Let me know which ones sound the best to you. From under the covers came the delectable smells, with permission only as a technicality and a sop to adult authority. The grandchildren were allowed to piece, I guess that's kind of just take little bits, on any of these or on the raspberry tarts. Wow, that sounds amazing. Mother did not believe in food between meals for children, but it was Grandma's house. And since she had successfully raised 7 children on the theory that one should have food when one was hungry, we had free play. We very nearly always chose the cookies for the piecing. Perhaps we had learned that the consumption of the richer cakes and tarts spoiled our appetites for the coming incredible meal. Children are no fools, as modern pediatrics is discovering. I just love that story and her style of writing. So I'm excited to see what my family thinks of these. Stick around for that part. And if you love this video so far, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for bi-weekly delicious vintage recipes from really fun books. And I will see you for the family tasting. My husband and son are here to try these yummy molasses cookies.
Molasses cookies?
Yes.
My first thing, they're soft. They're almost like,
yes.
they feel like a cake or something.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Okay, going in.
Okay.
Oh, it is really cakey.
Yeah, I love the texture.
Yum, that's quite good.
It's yummy, huh?
It kind of reminds me of like a vanilla sugar cookie, but you do get a little of the molasses in there, but it's not very strong.
Yeah,
it's nice. But it's really soft and cakey and delightful.
Yeah,
so
I think it's kind of something for everybody in there.
Yeah, because I know a lot of those molasses and ginger cookies can be so strong that people don't like them. But this is actually, like, I think almost anybody would like this.
Yeah, I think that's the good part about it.
Well, Adam approved.
Thumbs up. Yay, I'm so glad to hear it. Thanks, guys. Bye.